Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here presenting one of the use cases that we developed in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. And thank you for the opportunity given to us to share some of our efforts in helping the digital transformation, especially in public sectors. Um, so I'd like to bring a topic called building lasting change, irreversible impact in Indonesia education ecosystem through digital technology, where AI is part of the enablers within this journey, especially empowering teachers to be better teachers, as Payudis previously has mentioned before. So, a brief introduction about INA Digital Edu itself. We are now part of Roli, one of Indonesia's state-owned enterprises, and we are a multidisciplinary technology team composed of digital specialists, including software engineers, product managers, researchers, designers, data scientists, and more. So our mission is to accelerate national priority initiatives through technology, working closely with the Ministry of Education, yeah, especially with the Center for Data and Information, Pusdatin, which is basically Pak Yudhistira's team before. So our approach is grounded in a holistic technology development process. So we don't just deliver tech products in isolation, basically, or acting as a feature factory detached from the real world context. Instead, we start by deeply understanding the needs and pain points of users, especially citizens and public service stakeholders. And from there, we design not only technical solution, but also drive business process improvements and cultural or behavioral shifts within internal organizations. Just to give you the initial context here. So our ultimate goal is to create technology interventions that lead to irreversible improvements, lasting change that really makes a difference. As we dive into Indonesia's education transformations, it's very important to first grasp the sheer scale and complexity of the system we are working to improve. I think as most of us in this room here is already aware about, Indonesia is home to over 270 million people, spreading across more than 70K islands with over 700 languages spoken, and also over 1,300 ethnic groups. So this diversity is a strength on one hand, but on the other hand, it's also a massive challenge when it comes to delivering equitable education. And we're talking about 60 million students here, supported by 4 million teachers across 400K schools, led by 250K principal and supervisors, all under the coordination of over 500 local governments. So let's take a moment to hear directly from those on front lines of the education. A school principal from North Sumatra told us many of our fellow teachers have been teaching for 15 to 20 years without ever receiving a single training session. Another example from East Java, we used to plan school improvements based on assumptions in majority, so they rarely hit the mark. Those voices highlight the real day-to-day challenges in our education system, which are first, limited access to training, especially in remote areas, due to budget and geographic barriers, for example. Decentralized systems that result in misalignment with decisions often made based on gut feeling, not the factual data. High administrative burdens that caused by the overlapping tools and probably the bureaucracy itself, and also the fragmented duplicative data systems that make it difficult to drive consistent improvement. These are not just operational problems, they are quite structural, and addressing them requires systemic, digital, and human-centered solution, especially in this kind of like nation-scale ecosystem. Yeah, Payudis had mentioned before about the monthly event, so this is like in more detailed explanation about the digital strategy where we are undertaking to address the complex challenges here. So we introduced Rumah Pendidikan, being translated as House of Education in English, probably, a fully integrated digital ecosystem that brings every education stakeholder into one connected platform. So it's a super app forming a kind of a federation of dedicated digital spaces or ruang, which is tailored for a different group of users for their specific needs. For example, ruang GTK, room for teachers, empowering teachers with professional development tools and peer communities. Another examples, probably the Ruang Murid room for students, which offers engaging learning contents that is accessible across devices. Ruang Sekolah, supporting school leaders in data-driven academic and operational planning. Ruang Pemerintah, another examples, equipping local and national governments with real-time data for better policy decision, and so on and so forth. All of these services are developed and continuously improved based on a unified digital transformation blueprint, ensuring that innovation stays aligned with the policy and also grounded in real-world needs. And over the past 5 years, just a glimpse of our previous experience here, our digital transformations has made some progress, not just in technology deployment, but also in transforming how our education ecosystem works at scale. First, through Ruang GTK, or Room for Teachers here, we've seen a 7 times increase in teachers accessing quality training in 2024 compared to 2019. Yeah, remember that in the beginning, our baseline is that less than 20% or of teachers that only take the formal training session from the central government. And over 800,000 teachers have now been certified through our accelerated program with a target of 1.2 million by the end of this year. And more than 95% of schools now use Rapor Pendidikan. It's like our big data platform representing the National Education Report as their single source of truth for data-driven planning. It's kind of a huge leap in evidence-based decision making and many more. So these are just milestones, obviously. They actually representing meaningful, measurable progress towards a stronger, more resilient education system for Indonesia. And so, after seeing the scale of the system and probably a glimpse of measurable progress that we've made, it's important to pause and reflect a bit on this. So, technology alone doesn't change systems. People do. If we want to create an irreversible impact, digital transformation must go far beyond just building applications or launching platforms. It's not enough just to install and go. It requires also a fundamental shift in how we think, how we plan, and how we execute and also collaborate. So, how do we make that kind of mindset shift tangible? We, in a digital, together with the Ministry of Education, have adopted some of new set of development principles, basically, not just to ship products faster, but to ensure what we build through these sticks and scales. First, we design every solution to be built for irreversibility, meaning once it works and delivers value, we want that solution becoming the new default, not like rolling back to the previous state. Second, we stay obsessed with our users. It is probably the most important principle that we apply for every digital initiative here, not just listening to their feedback, but also co-creating with them through constant iterations, discovery, delivery, and distribution, learning, and then iterate. Third, we embrace what we call good enough. It actually means launching and learning quickly and improving along the way, not trying to pursue a perfection at the first goal or in the first place. And fourth, we accept that it's always work in progress because I think that real transformation actually doesn't really have a finish line if we want to keep innovating and improve along the way, especially do this fast pace of technological development. And finally, we think in ecosystems, not in silos, because the problems we're solving here don't exist in isolation. So let's take a look a particular case study on how we've applied those principles in providing digital solution, especially for teachers. So empowering teachers is one of the most powerful investments we can make in our education system. But here's the reality. The majority of our educators have been probably left behind a little bit. In 2019, fewer than 20% of teachers received formal training from the central government. And also furthermore, 1.5 million teachers remain uncertified. Not because they're unwilling, but because the system isn't really designed to reach them. So training quality and access are still highly uneven across regions. And the root of this problem is a multi-layered cascading system where information and resources flow from central to local levels, but probably often get distorted or diluted along the way. So we cannot build a future-ready education system if we are too or over-reliant on this conventional top-down training approach. So this is quite an urgency, which is exactly why we've tried to reimagine teacher development using digital platforms to decentralize access, ensure consistency, and scale empowerment for every teacher wherever they are. So to truly empower teachers at scale, we knew we had to rethink the delivery model entirely, moving from centralized, quota limited training, if you want, to something far more inclusive and scalable. That's why we've building Ruang GTK here, a national platform dedicated to Indonesia's 4 million teachers. It's not just an online course catalog in the recent version here. It's a comprehensive space where teachers can upskill themselves independently, manage their careers and performance, and connect with peers. And this enables teachers for not just receiving content, but also owning their personal development and professional journey. And now let's take a closer look at what makes Ruang GTK or Room for Teachers here quite transformative for our teachers. First, we have the pengelolaan kinerja, or translated into teachers' career and talent management, a space where teachers can independently plan, track, and report their professional growth and performance. And second, we also provide perangkat ajar, a kind of like a curated library of teaching tools, such as lesson plans, modules, and resources, and so on. So teachers can search by subject, grade, or curriculum level and immediately find what they need to enhance classroom lesson plan. And third, there's a bukti karya and komunitas, a kind of like a vibrant space where teachers share their best practices, get inspired by others, and join learning communities across the country. So together, they form a digital ecosystem that supports autonomy, professionalism, and also peer connection. Yeah, what you just seen before, it's not like becoming a national scale platform overnight. It was the result of continuous iteration, listening to our users, and also building for scale. So, in fact, we started in early 2022 Ruang GTK as a prescriptive resource platform. It means like it's just a course catalog in the beginning, offering basic training modules and materials. But what really changed the trajectory was how we responded to what teachers actually needed after some iterations. So by the middle of the year 2022, after introducing especially the collaborative features like teacher communities and Ikaria, is also reflecting our gotong royong culture here. We witness a clear inflection point, a moment of sort of a hockey stick growth that validated that we were on the right path in terms of scaling up this platform. Since then, we've achieved over 780K best practice being shared within the platform, 110K learning communities, and so on. So we also built this with a robust support system, resolving issues in less than 12 hours on average. Because for transformation to scale, trust in the platform should be non-negotiable, in our opinion. So today we have over 4.6 million. Probably, I should put this slide back. Yeah, we have over 4.6 million total users with more than 3.5 million active users. A kind of clear sign that this platform is not only reaching teachers, but engaging them meaningfully. More than 1.7 million pieces of content have been uploaded by teachers to inspire each other, and over 54K teaching tools have been downloaded more than 16 million times by many teachers here. And also the strength of the community is also growing with more than 859K teacher communities. And last but not least, Ruang GTK has also achieved 4.9 rating on Google Play Store here, placing it among the top 5 education apps in Indonesia and one of the highest rated government platforms in the country. So with the increasing user engagement, traffic, and data flow, we have another problem. But this time it's a quite good problem to have, which is trying to overcome the scalability and complexity. So when millions of teachers rely on our platform every day, the stakes definitely are higher. So we cannot just grow, but also have to scale smartly. And that's where AI comes in as a core enabler, not just an add-on, basically. So I think if we might summarize all of these values that can be generated by AI, we actually want to increase our productivity in every aspect. So how exactly are we using AI to drive performance and scale? And first and foremost, before thinking like external user-facing services, we'd like to make ourselves more productive first. So we apply AI-first software development strategy, meaning that we work in harmony with AI, especially generative AI, as our assistant or co-pilot to build better, faster, and smarter. So the reason why we're doing this are the following. Yeah, first, AI would like to help us make our work easier. So yeah, we as engineers can write, test, and improve code much faster, which means we can ship features more frequently within the shorter lead time for changes. And second, we save time on repetitive tasks. And thirdly, yeah, of course, we also want to improve the quality of the product that we deliver. So going beyond internal workflow or developer experience that I just explained before, we also apply AI in areas that can improve the end user experience. And one of the most concrete challenges we face was in content creation, for example. So as user-generated content grew, our manual validators simply couldn't keep up, since each validator need to handle over 50 content pieces per cycle with 400K submissions every month. So that's not just unsustainable, it also introduces a high risk of inconsistent validation, which may degrade the user experience. So we turn to AI, specifically machine learning-based validation, to help human validators apply them speed and accuracy, basically. So the result is quite promising. Our machine learning-assisted content curation can now process 7 times more documents than fully manual team could do at 99% lower cost. So the second case that I would like to highlight is the content recommendation or content relevance here, because with over 4.2 million features and more than 1,000 learning topics, manual matching the right content to the right user definitely became intractable. So it started to impact engagement and also learning effectiveness. So our solution is we built and deployed an AI recommendation system that suggests personalized content based on the teacher subject, behavior, and preference. So the AI recommendation solution is equipped with learning from user data and also the context, using topic modeling techniques like per topic or XGBoost as a classifier to categorize content. So the recommendation system can deliver, more or less about 1.5 times higher click-through rate than random suggestion here. And this system also gets smarter over time, improving recommendation as more teachers interact and provide feedback to the system. So lastly, with the rise of generative AI, it also allows us to deliver new value propositions in learning experience for teachers. It also enables more conversational interaction between teachers and the platform. So we've introduced a conversational AI virtual assistant to support teachers in more meaningful ways. Yeah, so basically to make the teachers performing better and better. So we first launched it in Ruang GTK, where it provides personalized answers, smart responses that reflect Indonesia's local education context, and also assistance with platform navigation. Now we also embedded it directly into our learning management system, where it delivers highly curated, up-to-date contents, accurate and responsible answers, and also real-time support for upskilling, especially now, including the coding and AI, because it's part of the priority education program in this administration. And so the experience is kind of like using a highly customized ChatGPT that has been, tailored for teachers' specific needs, for creating lesson plan, to being a brainstorming partner with national curriculum context and content. At the end of the day, the metric that we really care the most is not the number of users or the amount of data processed in the context of education, but it's the student learning outcome. Every digital service, every system, or every AI features we build, all of it has one coherent purpose, which is to ensure every student in Indonesia receives the quality education they deserve. And we are seeing some real progress. Since 2021, the percentage of students achieving minimum literacy competency has climbed from 53% to 67%. In numeracy, we've moved from 33% to 60% in 2 years. Keep in mind that we suffered from COVID-19 years before, right? So it's also a sign of we can still recover from the learning loss. This isn't just about numbers, obviously. It's a result of scalable system, intelligent tools, and most importantly, empowered teachers, educators working in harmony to drive meaningful change. So we're not here to just digitize the present. We are here to build a future, one where innovation leads to education equity, and every younger generation has the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive. That's all my presentation today. Thank you very much for your attention.